Hi, so today I'm going to build the replacement railing for this railing that got taken out in a storm recently. Fortunately, the railing that got taken out was a smaller section rather than one of these 10-foot or 12-foot sections. So let's go down to the shop and I'll show you how I'm going to get started. So let's take a look at what I was able to salvage from the old railing. So here's what I was able to salvage, and you can see I've got all of the spindles, which was great because I'm not sure if they still sell them or not. And the top railing broke, and that's all right. I've got the bottom railing is intact, so I'm able to use that as a template for both railings. And these long threaded rods and bolt, those are what hold the railings together. There's two of them, and I was able to save both of them. They're both bent a little bit on the bottom, but I think I can put them in the vise and straighten them out. So that's what I have to work with. So it's almost a complete railing as is. I just have to duplicate the top and bottom rail and straighten those tie rods out, and should be good to go. It's kind of a complex process because the railings have to have a certain size hole drilled into them to a certain depth at a certain place. So that's where the complexity comes in, and we'll take a look at how I'm going to do that. I did have some leftover materials when I initially made the railings, and I was able to find a cedar 2x4 that was just the right length to cut in half and make into two new railings. And so I cut them and stained them up the color of the deck, and they're ready to go. Here are those new rails, and they look a little better on one side than the other, so I'm going to put the good side up because that's the side that will show, and the not as great side will be on the bottom where it'll be hard to see. So I just have to lay these out, get them exactly the same distance apart or distance together to match, and then I have to take the old railing and use that to mark off exactly where I want all these holes. And then the two holes that have the tie rods have an extra hole through all the way through. So let's get started on that. Just want to make a little mark right in the center of each of these 2x4s. Next, I want to check the width and depth of each of the holes. Looks like the spindles are 3/4 inch, and I guess the hole would probably be the same 3/4 inch. Yep, because they fit fairly snugly in there, which is the way you want it. Now we need to check the depth of each of these holes, and let's see what we get here. It looks like a 1/16 shy of 1/2 inch. So let's be 7/16. All right, we'll have to set up the drill press to match that. Well, I've got the drill press set up here and ready to go, so let's take a look at it. All right, I've got this set up so that there's a stop here so that drill comes down right in the middle of the 2x4. All right, let's give it a try. Looks like about 7/16. That's about right. I'm gonna go with that. So now it's just a matter of getting all these drilled out. Okay, so I've got all the holes drilled, and now it's just a matter of putting it together. The hard part of putting it together is to getting all of those stiles in there at the same time. And what I'm going to do, you can put like a board underneath each end to raise the stiles up enough to fit into those spots and then work them in. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this old board and I'm going to drill all these holes all the way through and then rip this board right down the middle and then just lay those stiles right on that board on both sides, and that should make it real easy to put them in. I've just got to set my drill press here so that I've got to lift this up enough that this will go all the way through so I can go through that board. So another thing I need to do before I assemble this is drill the holes for the tie rods that hold it all together. And so that'll be on the fourth hole in on each side. So let's go do that. So I'm ready to assemble the railing. Let's take a look at that. I've got all the spindles into the top rail. I just have to get these other spindles over these tie rods, like that. So I'll get that end all tightened up and then I'll insert it in the rail, and then I'll get this one. I'll have to feed the tie rod through this here first, and then I can get this whole set of spindles inserted, but you can see they'll might be easier with that board. We'll see. Well, I was able to get all the spindles threaded in there, clamp on either side, and I tightened the one on the left to just the point where the spindle was touching this rail here. And then I left this one a little looser, and I pulled the spindle part way out of the upper hole, just enough to get it in the bottom hole. And I went down the line like that, and as I did that, I tightened up this furniture clamp. So this end was already in. This end still had a gap, and I was able to slowly thread them in and tighten this furniture clamp until I had them all in. And now I just have to put the nut, screw the nut on the end of these tie rods, and it'll be good to go. The one thing I need to do before I bring it up and install it is I need to put these clips on the bottom here, like that, because I won't be able to get under there with the screw gun, but I will be able to get at it from this way to get that into the post. The ones that go up here, I will put on the post because I can screw from the bottom on the upper rail. So I'll get that done and we'll get it installed. Okay, let's see if we can get this installed. Well, I got the railing installed. It looks kind of new, which it is. It'll need to weather in for a while, but now I just need to get working on these, getting these copper tops reinstalled. Wait for the next storm.